Ladies and gentlemen, for our first talk of the day, we welcome Mr. Shahredza Minhat, the Deputy Director at Bank Negara, Malaysia, where he has contributed his expertise in the country's financial landscape. As a former Chief Representative of BNM in the United Kingdom, Mr. Redza holds an MBA from the University of Oxford and prestigious certifications including Chartered Banker and Chartered Financial Analyst.
While his career in finance has been impressive, Mr. Redza is also an accomplished scriptwriter and actor. His latest work, having written the script for Imaginur, has earned accolades to the point of representing Malaysia at the New York Asian Film Festival. Additionally, the film received multiple awards at the 33rd Malaysia Film Festival, including Best Story and Best Film.
Ladies and gentlemen, a show of hands. Who has watched Imaginur here? Who cried when they watched Imaginur? Ladies and gentlemen, this talk will delve into the concepts of living an authentic life, emphasizing on the freedom to pursue greatness along any of your chosen paths. Through personal anecdotes, it explores the power of being present, the freedom of not knowing, and the courage to fail. Mr. Redza will share his unique journey blending leadership in the financial world with a passionate pursuit of creativity in the arts, showcasing that an individual's spark is never limited to a single match. So please welcome to the stage, Mr. Redza Minhat.
Assalamualaikum. Good morning. The enthusiasm of youth, one that I do not have anymore. I was reminded of that when someone came to me just now and said, "My father said hi." She called me Uncle Frankie. It's a name I was given because I played football with her father. So advice. You ever heard this song called "Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen"? No? Okay, good. So there is the line in that song that goes, "Advice is a form of nostalgia. Dispensing it is fishing from the past, from the disposal, wiping it off, painting over its cracks, recycling it for more than it's worth." So at the risk of becoming one of those uncles recycling this advice, I am trying to just share with you my experiences, how I got here, literally right now, from where I was from. And I will try and explain it through what I do best, filming. So, where do I start? I guess I realized where I truly exist in this world when my father passed away at the age of 4. That was the time when my senses were heightened. I remember vividly the day it happened, when my neighbor came in, told my sister at the time that my father got into an accident and passed away, and I saw the commotion in my house. Up to a point, there's this one single point where my father came up to me and said, he hugged me, and then he said, "You are now the man of the house." At that time, I realized, what does that even mean, man of the house? But the point was, at that time, my senses were heightened. I started to observe, I started to see things around me more than I was before. And to a certain extent, I became someone who's emotional. I became very emotional. But the problem is, it's repressed. And one way for me to sort of express it is through writing. So I wrote a lot, even when I was a little boy. I don't know what I was for, but I wrote. And up until a point where I got into boarding school, and then I was still aimless. I don't know what I want to do with my life. And then I got into uni, and then I met a bunch of friends who are into the arts. And I started going to watch plays. I spent a lot of my time during my yesteryears down in Dataran, Malaysia. There's a studio called the Black Box by the Actor Studio. I frequented that place. I hung out with people, and I do not know what that means, but I'm drawn into watching stage performances. And then at one point I thought, maybe I should turn all these ramblings I got on papers into a play. And this is the first concept that I would like to share with you, is the freedom of not knowing. I did not know anything. I did not know what to do with my life. I did not have a plan. But I know what I like. So at that point I thought that maybe I should write a play. And the inspiration behind that play was a simple incident. I was in uni. So I bought, one of those Analyst. Yeah? So I bought this pineapple tart from a friend. So good. Brought it home. And I left for classes and went back. It's finished. So all my housemates finished it up. I got so angry. And I bought another one. I hid it under the bed. Finished again. And then I was scolding all my friends, and we got into an argument, and I thought, hey, this would be a very good play. And then I started writing a play called Tak Nenas. It's a simple play. And it was what I know about a play. I saw a couple of plays, and then I read a couple of plays. One was art by Redza. So the play was about an artist who sculpts. One day he just ran out of motivation to just sculpt, so she baked pineapple tarts. And it's the best pineapple tart in the whole world. And then he got her friends to come over, and then they ate the pineapple tarts until its last piece. And then they all fought about who deserves this last piece of tart. So that play went on to win the Malaysian Film Theatre Festival 20 years ago. I wrote it when I was 20. From not knowing to winning the theatre festival. And it caused quite a stir, because the play was a bit based on what the Sunday papers claimed. It was rather strange, because it's not a musical. It's not a play, because it has music. And it's just because the rest of the teams that presented the play was they were presenting some of the old works, and it was a straight up play. But Tak Nenas was the only crazy play, because this guy, who did not know what to do, the proper way of doing a play, wrote something that he felt like it has to be written. And it won the Malaysian Theatre Festival 2004, I think. That was 21 years ago. So that was I was to connect to the theme today. The spark doesn't need to be a spark. Sometimes it's developed over time. And sometimes it's driven by you not knowing what you want to do. But you need to follow it up. So the next thing that happened after that, again, not knowing. I was offered a role as Romeo in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. I never knew anything about Shakespeare. I just said yes, why not? So apparently it was one of the most atrocious Romeo and Juliet ever staged, according to one guy. But I learned Shakespeare, and I developed an interest into literature. I actually wanted to pursue literature. But what happened after that is a person who attended that play, who's a close friend of mine, told me that, hey, yeah, I saw your play. It was a conversation down in the car park. And then she said that, and I was asking her, what do you want to do? Or what are you doing now? She said, I'm taking CFA. It's like, what is CFA? And then she started explaining that this is this and that, and said, why don't you join me? And I said, yes, why not? And I joined her, and passed my level 1, applied to Negara, and turns out I'm pretty good at investment. So there is that. So, like I said, passion gets developed over time, but you will always talk about inspirations, right? I've worked with two kinds of artists usually. One is those who wait for inspirations. The other one who just works despite inspirations. I prefer to work with the one who just grind. Because inspirations, it's important, but I think what you need to understand is everything can inspire you. Well, what you need to do is actually to observe, to properly observe around you. This comes to my second sort of concept that I'm trying to share. Actually, this goes back to the point where you have a heightened sense of awareness. You are self-aware, you are aware of space, you are aware of people around you, and only this will lead you to be so-called inspired or moved. Staying in the moment, like right now, non-judging of what's happening around you, actually will open up a lot of your perspectives on things. If you are in the arts, you'll be taught, as an actor, you'll be taught, be present, stay in the moment. But if you go to leadership courses, they will call it mindfulness, or to be self-aware of your team or your surroundings. There's this one time, which was the last play I did before I left, was I played Macbeth. This is an example of how being present can help you. I'm not sure whether it's applicable, but let's see. So, are you familiar with Macbeth? Have you seen it or read it? Yes? No? Okay, alright. So, but anyway, there is this great solidity in Macbeth. It goes tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Can't remember what the rest was. But I was playing Macbeth, and one night I was in rehearsal. I was doing that part. That part was supposed to be the most. Because Lady Macbeth just died. And I'm so sad, and I'm supposed to dig very deep. And the director keeps telling me that you're not hitting the mark. And then I went at it again, and I said, okay, be present. Presently, I feel hungry and tired, because I just got off work. Usually my routine would be go to work, come home from work at around 7 or 8, rush straight to rehearsal, and at that point, I was quite old already, and then at that point, I was so tired, I was so hungry, and I told myself I can't do this anymore, and I'm so depressed, and I started crying while doing the soliloquy. And then the director said, good job. So you see, things in the moment can lead you to do many other things that you do not expect. I think that was also the point where I realized that, as you grow older, all these life choices become quite heavy. At one point, you need to make a choice. And at that point, I realized that maybe I should slow down and focus on writing, for instance. Which led me to the final point I'm trying to talk about, which is on Imaginur. You've seen it, right? So there is this one last part about what I'm trying to share with you today. So we had the freedom of not knowing, the ability to stay present. I think that the third part that's always applicable to me is the courage to just let it go, which also means to just fail. So the thing with Imaginur is, I've been writing with and working with my long-term collaborator, I think Amit, you know him, and we've made movies that were what we call commercially viable. We tried the first two films. Every time we showed them to the cinema, they would say, "Good film, can't sell. Good film, can't sell." And when Imaginur came, I thought, well, we make films that won't sell anyway, why not write another one? I decided to just explore the nature of memories in Imaginur. So what do you bring with you at the point of death? It should be things that form you as a person, right? So from there, and then I started to develop the form of the film. And then by the end of the whole film, I asked Nick, I told him that I don't think anyone would watch this. Because the film is actually quite, to us, was quite inaccessible. But then we thought, we own this. Sometimes maybe we just have to trust what we've worked on and to just let it go. I think it's so different. The approach was so different than the past few films or plays that I've worked on where I tried to control the outcome. Always trying to control the outcome, each scene. Now, here's the best part about being in investment and screenwriting. I use Excel spreadsheets for my script. I actually model it. Like each scene has a positive and negative, and then I can see it in a big graph. Nobody does that. And I saw it, the whole graph, the whole spin, the whole thing. I will always do that. But for Imaginur, it's just letting it go. Just trust it. Trust the process. And we made the film. The film was done again. For your knowledge, it's a very cheap film, by the way. It's cost of body was about 500,000, and that was it. We make cheap films that will sell. And we were quite famous for that, actually, in the industry. So again, we tried to show it to platforms, same thing, won't sell. Show it to cinema, trying to get them to distribute good film. There were actually audience who cried during the viewing, but the comment is still the same. Good film, Malaysians would see it. And then again, we thought, okay, let's just push it through. Amazing thing happened. That's TikTok. One person started recording themselves crying, and then it spiraled. At that point, I realized maybe this time is different. And then one MP actually came during Parliament. She said she saw a film called Imaginur. That went viral as well. And then me and Nick thought, okay, maybe this time is different. The final collection for Imaginur was close to 7 million. And I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not as big as perhaps Makilau, it's 100 million. But for a film that has that concept, to us was quite a feat. So I learned at that point, sometimes you just have to trust it. Have the courage to just let it go. Don't control it too much. So, I guess at this point, I'm heading towards if this was a film, I'm heading towards, because I can't find the ending yet, for my life at least. I don't know where I'm going from now. I'm still anxious where I'm going. But I just want to share with you this one thing. You're young. I know some of you might be anxious, some of you might have it all planned out. But I think you should cherish the fact that you do not know. And the funny thing about not knowing is you have the curiosity to understand that you do not know, so therefore find out. Number two, you should always stay in the present. Thinking about the future can be daunting, but stay in the present. You'll see a lot around you that can inspire you. And the third one, have the courage to sometimes just let it go. So I guess I've completed quite a bit of a cycle, and I've dispensed some of these recycled ideas and advice, and I'm thankful to be here. So I hope all of you with the stamina to still pursue what you want to do in life. And trust me, if ever someone tells you that once you get to work and you can't pursue your passion, trust me, it can be done. For as long as you have the right motivation and the right heart, we want to pursue it. So with that, I think I shall end my talk right now. Thank you for listening, and thanks again. Thank you.